St. Paul Port Authority, creating a better environment for business. For more than 100 years, companies that have occupied the Globe site on East 7th Street have manufactured roofing shingles. The evidence remains everywhere, in the buildings, in the above and below ground storage tanks, and not surprisingly, in the soil and groundwater surrounding it. By the time the building was abandoned in 2002, hazardous waste made the site unfit for business and unappealing for investment. That's when the St. Paul Port Authority stepped in and acquired the property and began the redevelopment process.
This was sort of a natural next step, a very blighted, vacant, contaminated piece of property that needed to be redeveloped.
Rehabilitating a site like Globe Manufacturing is more than merely leveling buildings. The scope of this project involves many elements, and each plays a critical role in its overall success.
In order to get our hands around it, we end up going piece by piece, breaking out tanks, what was demolished, the metal, and as you started splitting this into about 50 bid items and inventorying everything, and as we did, we inventoried all these plans, went through stacks of plans.
The demolition begins with hazardous waste removal and disposal, starting with asbestos abatement. Next steps include ridding the site of thousands of feet of process piping. Giant storage tanks, both above and below the ground, and all the materials contained therein.
With the different chemicals, acids, bases, different pesticides, dioxins, oxidizers, you have to know what you're dealing with, and in many cases, unmarked containers, you got to do some field testing.
In addition, the fuel oils, tar, and more than 100,000 gallons of asphalt that are stored in above-ground and underground storage tanks throughout the plant will be removed, along with their storage tanks, before any building demolition begins. But not all the materials removed from the building will be discarded. Many of the materials, including much of the steel, concrete, fuel oil, and thousands of board feet of old-growth Douglas fir timbers will be reused. Once the inside work has been completed, the more visible demolition can begin. The full-scale building demolition is a sign to the community that progress is being made.
There were a couple of big surprises during the construction management phase of the project. Once we actually started digging on the east side of the site, we found an entire building intact underneath the surface.
With an excessive amount of buried debris, concrete, and masonry product. What it was intended was to haul this material to a landfill, about 30,000 ton of material. We were able to save the Port Authority money by screening this material off, separating it into different products that would be recycled on site. So very little material had to be hauled off site.
Finally, when the site is clean, the St. Paul Port Authority will have yet another parcel of land on which to build a business and a better future for this neighborhood.